Here is a 2010 Jeep Liberty 4x4 with 146,000 miles. Today we're going to take a tour of this nice used SUV and we're going to take it out for a test drive. Stay tuned to the end of the video when I'm going to read off what real 2010 Jeep Liberty owners are saying about their experience with their vehicle. This 2010 Jeep Liberty is currently for sale at Elohim Auto Sales. You can check it out in person at our lot in Payson, Arizona, or go on our website to see this vehicle and everything else in our inventory, as well as get a free Carfax history report, usually about 40 bucks, but we'll give it to you for free on anything in our inventory. You can see that on our website. The link is going to be in the description. The Jeep Liberty was introduced for the 2002 model year as a replacement for the Jeep Cherokee and was produced through 2012. This is the second generation Jeep Liberty, after the Liberty was completely restyled with a more retro and boxy look, giving it a kind of off-road appearance similar to the old Jeep Cherokee. Personally, I think the redesigned look was a huge improvement. It has a lot more of a unique style to it, and that's something I can really appreciate. That, however, was not enough to save the Jeep Liberty. With two smaller Jeep SUVs being released in 2007, customers now had even more Jeeps to choose from when they went to the dealership. The lineup then consisted of 6 Jeep SUVs to choose from: the Patriot, Compass, Grand Cherokee, Commander, Jeep Wrangler, and of course, the Liberty. With falling sales of the Jeep Liberty between 2008 and 2012, Jeep pulled production and the Liberty was last sold in 2012. For second generation Jeep Liberties such as this one, there were several safety advancements such as better stability control to decrease the chance of a rollover, as well as side impact airbags became standard equipment. And so this one too does come equipped with side impact airbags, which is huge for safety. The Jeep Liberty is a great choice when looking for a used Jeep SUV. This truly is a sport utility vehicle. It can be used for a large range of tasks, be it safely driving your family around, folding down the seats and loading it full of supplies and equipment for work, or even taking it out for an adventure into the wilderness and going off-roading. All right, now let's take a little bit of a walk around and check out the exterior of this 2010 Jeep Liberty. I think it does look particularly nice in white with the dark tinted windows. And again, personally, I really think that this boxy look definitely paid off. It is an attractive vehicle. And it does have the classic Jeep grille, which is a big item for many people. Take a look at the key fob here. Pretty standard Chrysler product key fob of the time at the time. You do have your lock and unlock and panic buttons. This one does also come equipped with a back hatch popper, or rather back glass. I'll show you. So you simply double tap that, and this back glass is going to lift up so you can throw groceries or tools or whatever you just want to throw in there quickly without lifting up the entire hatch. Lifting up the hatch is easy. You've got a simple handle right here which combines to help you lift up this hatch. You've got a nice little storage area down there with that rugged rubber material at the bottom, so you're not going to damage or stain anything in there. And of course, these seats, do fold down. A great part about these back seats is that they actually fold flat. You do have a perfectly or near perfect flat surface to load things on. I know that is a big complaint for a lot of vehicles. While their seats do fold down, they don't fold down flat with the rear cargo area. These ones do, and I will go ahead and show you their operation. So, to do so, you come into the back seat here, and you simply pull this little tab, and the seats will fold down. I don't know how well you can tell, but that is remarkably flat. Let's go ahead and do the other side, and we'll get a good view of what it looks like with both seats folded down. Again, you've got this little pull tab right there. Simply pull on that, and the seat is going to fold down. Let me close both of these doors here. And there you go, look at that. That is a ton of space. People have said that they can easily fit 8-foot 2x4s in this vehicle with the seats folded down. And of course, you can fit even more with that back glass up and the 2x4s going out the back. So you can definitely use this vehicle for work, for sure. Let's go ahead and put these seats back. Now, another thing about this little pull tab that I forgot to mention is if you pull it, you can actually recline the seats down just a little bit. Let me go around to that other side and show you. So that little fabric tab there serves two purposes. So as you can see, there's where the seat normally is, and you do have the option to recline them, which is kind of nice. Go back around to the driver's side again. Fairly easy to use and comfortable door handles with a nice little thumb push button. Not many cars doing that these days. I actually quite like it because I like a lot of old cars. As you can see, and you'll see more here in a moment, this interior does look pretty good for 146,000 miles. It has held up very well. All right, here in the interior of the 2010 Jeep Liberty, as you can see, we have fairly standard power mirrors and power windows, as well as door locks. You do have this nice little storage compartment right there. Vents on either side of the driver, as well as passenger. You've got a nice, sturdy, firm handle there for the passenger. Good sized glove box. You do have a 12-volt plug. You've got your four-wheel drive switch is right here. You just simply go like so and into 4 low. Of course, you do have to shift into neutral to go from four-wheel drive high to four-wheel drive low. Down here, you have the button that turns on and off your hazard lights. Off to the left, you have the button that turns on and off the traction control for this vehicle. And a nice little feature to have in the middle here is the button that controls your hill descent control, which is fantastic, especially if you plan on doing any off-roading in this. Nice, simple, easy to use climate controls. I'm a huge fan of this. These are well labeled, easy to use. I find myself adjusting my climate controls frequently, and so I can really appreciate when the controls are simple like this. That way I don't have to take my hands and eyes away from the road for very long. Once again, a fairly simple and easy to use stereo system, and it does look like you do have Bluetooth, a Bluetooth option here, judging by those two buttons there. The gauges are fairly simple and easy to read. Another plus, as you can see here, it starts right up with no problems. There's no check engine lights or anything like that. Here in the back seat, it is fairly standard. You do have power window controls as well as access to the door lock. 2 cup holders there in the center. This plastic is a little scuffed up, but it's still holding together very well. I've got this driver's seat where I would naturally put it, and I'm 6'1", and as you can tell, I still have a couple inches of leg room, which is just fantastic, especially for kind of a somewhat of a compact SUV like this. But it is a fairly nice back seat. I do like it. There's your rear cargo room once again, and a nice thing is I have a fair amount of headspace, both in the front driver's seat and in the back here. This back seat is a little reclined, but with it reclined just a little bit, I've got probably 4 inches of headspace, which is fantastic. So definitely plenty of space back here for adults. You could fit 3 adults back here, I would say pretty comfortably. All right, let's go ahead and take this thing out for a drive. All right, driving the 2010 Jeep Liberty. So far, my first impression is that it feels pretty stable, especially for an SUV. It feels really good to drive. The seats are not the most comfortable, but they do fit the body well enough. They're pretty firm. Yeah, it feels stable. It really does, going around corners and all that. The brakes feel good. Doesn't feel like it's necessarily made of power, but it definitely has enough power to make itself move and get up and go. I'd say that this is a nice driving SUV, similar to most of everything else that's out there as far as SUVs of this type. Definitely easy to drive. It's not a very large SUV, you know, it's not like a Chevy Tahoe or Suburban or a Ford Excursion or anything like that. It's definitely, you can tell it's kind of smaller and a little bit more nimble than some of those larger SUVs. Yeah, parking this thing is very easy. It's got a fairly tight turning radius, and Yeah, no problem parking this thing. Now let's go ahead and read what some real 2010 Jeep Liberty owners are saying about their experience with their vehicle. One reviewer says this is truly an SUV. Second Jeep Liberty in my home. First one, a 2002 Jeep Liberty Sport, still running great after 205,000 miles. Reliable, fun to drive, and pretty. A quality SUV. Another reviewer says, well, it does live up to the Jeep way of life. Decent handling on the pavement for such a rugged SUV. Short and to the point. Another reviewer says, I have owned this vehicle for 4 years. I am very impressed. It is a rugged vehicle with enough comfort features to satisfy me. What I really like is the way it handles in snow. The Liberty is unstoppable. I have driven it through some bad storms without any hesitation. It has been most impressive. I do not do a lot of off-roading or off-road exploring, but I have never been disappointed in what it can do. I also appreciate the cargo space when the seats are down. Another reviewer says, my Jeep has outperformed my expectations. Does wonderful in ice and snow. I recommend my Jeep Liberty and I know it will run for many years to come. So it sounds like folks especially love driving this in the snow, which is definitely something you're going to get in the mountain environment that it is currently in. Thank you very much for watching this review video. I hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for the next vehicle.